How are you today? I hope that you had a wonderful weekend and that um, you are enjoying your new week as we start the and we're coming to the close of April. I cannot believe how fast this year is going. Anyway, so today I wanted to finish off our topic on the evolution of light. There's just a couple more notes that I wanted to make. Remember, we're talking about the idea of light, not just physical light, but internal light, inner light. And we talked about that phos is external and photizo is the internal light. And it is my job, goal, desire to increase my internal light because that helps and assists with, quote, soul, if we could say, use the word soul, if we have that word. So when it comes to the human experience, love and fear are two of the most predominant experiences that we as human beings have. Love is an expression, internal expression, everyone understands that, and it's a high vibration. We have that connection that moves mountains. Fear is a low vibration, it's constrictive. If you think of something that you feel fearful about, it's constrictive. We hold back, we get scared, we don't want to take risks, we look around and you understand what fear is. So we have love and fear. Those are the two predominant experiences that human beings have. They connect to our light as well. When we experience love internally, it helps elevate us, our internal light. When we experience fear, we withdraw, decompress, and lowers our internal light. Most fear originated from external events. We look out, we see, we get fearful. We can have fear internally as well. We can be afraid of things that we don't understand or fearful of situations that the what ifs can happen. Could be fear of the past. We could be frightened of the future. Most of the time, that's worry. Fear is typically connected to our past. Now, they balance each other out. In Omega, we used to talk about fear and love were opposites, not love and hate, but fear and love, because hate is rather destructive. And if I just go on the high and low vibrations of an individual, love is the high vibration, fear would be the low vibration, because the absence of love is fear. And then the absence of fear is love. If you don't have fear, you can be filled with love and experience great adventures. And if you are filled with fear, anybody could tell you this, when you're filled with fear, you're trepidatious about getting into a relationship or leaving your job and going for another job. Fear prevents us from expanding. So the absence of light is fear, and the absence of fear is love. Excuse me, light. That's what we are equating. Remember, we're connecting light and love. So if I have a lot of love, which is light, then I don't have a lot of fear. If I have a lot of fear, I don't have a lot of light. So we're connecting the idea of love with light and fear with darkness, if I could just use that term. Love is a vibration. Now, a lower vibration of love affects the outer, a higher vibration of love affects the inner, like the soul. I'm affecting my soul. Now, I'm going to use the word soul, but this could be anything that you think of, my inner state of being, my higher self, my consciousness, even connecting to God, the great source, the universal consciousness, what universality, whatever you consider this, that's what light vibration does. So a high vibration, which equates to light, guides that soul. Lower vibration doesn't guide my soul. A lower vibration usually connects me to the outer world. So in the outer world, uh, everything is measured according to your rank and by your power. How much power do you have? And of course, we talk about the idea that power could be money, land. If you own a lot of property, it could be land, intelligence, technology. That's all equated with power. And if you think about it, there are certain people who have a great deal of power, but they use it in a negative aspect, and they're considered evil. And then there's people who use their power for good. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, very powerful individuals. They had a lot of high vibration and light. They used their power for good. Um, Low vibration individuals. I'm thinking of we saw the America's Top 10 on the FBI list last weekend. And honestly, I don't remember the names of them, but like those people who intentionally cause a war, intentionally cause harm, that those are low vibration. They take their power, like the gentleman, he used to run the Russian mafia. I think I don't remember his name, and then I tried to block them out. But anyway, those are people who intentionally want to harm individuals. Um, so that would be a low vibration. Hitler, there's a good example. Hitler is somebody who used this very charismatic individual. It's hard to say that, but he was. He gathered so many people to follow him. He had a presence about him. Unfortunately, he used his power for the destruction of people, with the disillusion that he's going to create a superior race. That's negative power. Probably spent too much time on that. I'm sure you all understand that. So again, the high vibration, higher light guides my soul. Lower vibration guides the body, I could just say. um, People are measured according to their status. It's true. When I was growing up, how many letters can you put behind your name? And even today, it's kind of funny. If you have a BA, that's not even enough. They want to know what kind of master's you have, or, are you working on your PhD? Those letters behind you. Um, Things are measured according to their worth and value as well. Keeping up with the Joneses was something I grew up with. And so materialism hopefully is starting, I think it's starting to take a decline down, the big push for tiny homes. So that's one thing I have to say about this generation, this next generation that's coming up. They really are more forthcoming about taking care of the planet and not having such luxurious, big, huge homes anymore. It's more what we need rather than the desire to have expansiveness. Now, when we look for teachers, when you're looking for a teacher, you want to find a teacher who has a high vibration. I'm very grateful and blessed that I had George and many other teachers in my life. But George, of course, the founder of Omega, he had a very high vibration, and he guided individuals to your true self. Now, for those of you who've worked with George in the past, he was gentle and not gentle. He would give you direct, hard feedback, but you knew his feedback was always with the intention to help you grow, because he did understand that pain gives you an opportunity to grow. Pain shakes you awake. You're like, what? And it gives you an opportunity to grow. So George was very benevolently sharp. How's that? But he could give you feedback and saw through almost everything. It's just a great, great picture, an example of light. Um, when you're looking for teachers, that you want to find the teachers who are always putting the focus back on you, always putting the focus back on you. There's other teachers naturally who are very self-invested. It's all about them, how important they are. Look how much they heal you. Look how much they know. Buy my book. I mean, I always like that you go to the seminar, and before you go, you have to have their book to attend the seminar. And I understand. I know it's a racket, money. Not a racket. I shouldn't say that. It's a business. I understand that. I'm talking more about spiritual leaders. I guess I would just say I favor more of the Eastern tradition rather than the Western, the monks and the Buddhist, servitude. That's more the way I would focus on. And that's how I would see like the high vibration. And I am not calling myself a high vibration teacher. Please do not hear that at all. No, George was that. I'm striving, and I know the path is servitude, to be of service, to help those around us. It's not about me, it's about we. It's having universality thinking instead of individualism. So, a high vibration teacher, they're the ones who want to focus on you and help you succeed. Low vibration teachers are the ones who want to look at what I've done for you. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just showing the difference between high vibration and low vibration. That's all. High vibration souls have no tendency for self-importance. It's always about the group, always about the group. I love this story. One of my favorite stories, when George had surgery, the first time he had surgery, when he fell and broke his hip, and he came out of in the recovery room, he came out of the anesthesia. I am not kidding. The very first sentence he said, he opened his eyes, he looked around, and he said, You have to find a way to make a contribution to the citizens of this community. And then he fell back asleep. Literally, that's the first thing he says when he opens his eyes and he sees people around him. How do I make a contribution to these people? That is a high vibration soul. When we think about this, I also love the illustration of when you if you for those of you who have fire coals, you know those coals you put in the fire. We used to talk about this all the time. When you put the coals in the fire, everything glows and stays hot. You take one coal out and leave it separate, that coal will die quicker. But when you put it in with the group, it lasts longer. So that's where the idea of universality is. And the last thing I want to mention is about relationships. This is the beautiful thing about relationships. Relationships are for giving, not forgetting. You join a relationship to make a contribution to others. There's so many people. I've heard this many times in the classroom. I give and I give and I give and I get nothing in return. And that always makes me laugh. I, I don't mean to laugh, but internally I laugh on the inside. On the outside, I always say to them, well, do you think your giving has any conditions on it? Because conditional giving is always going to give you that pain. When you give freely, you don't really care whether you get anything back or not. You give because you can. So in relationships, when you're in a relationship, our goal should be how do I give to this other individual, not what are they going to give to me? How do you serve me? Snap my fingers, come and serve. No, 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 no. Successful relationships always work on the balance of giving to each other. And you have to remember, if I want to give, let's say give to my husband, I also have to give him the opportunity to give to me. So I have to practice receiving effectively and not discount what they give, grateful that they give. And, when your child draws a picture in school and gives you it and you can't even figure out what it is, but they're so excited to give you this picture, you take it. Thank you, sweetheart. I love this. Is beautiful. We put it up on the refrigerator because we understand the gift and recognize that they're wanting to give us, you receive it. So remember, relationships are for giving, but we also have to recognize when we receive. And that transaction increases our light. So we can have internal light. We can have light that we share with one another in relationships. We can have light that we share with one another out on the planet. We can make a contribution to the planet. April 22nd was last Thursday. Always big fan of Earth Day. I love Earth Day. It's like hopefully the day that we stop and think about the planet, this beautiful planet that gives us life. Are we doing anything to give back to her? What are we doing? Plant a tree, have a garden, whatever. But what can we do to help the planet? That's something I love the idea. And, I also love the idea that the planet has light too. If all of the people on the planet are having light, then we are spreading light as well. And the planet exhibits light as well. So every choice that we make in our lives takes us closer to light or further away from the light. I'm talking about internal light. We have choices that lead me up to the light and choices that pull me down to the light. So thank you for letting me take the time to talk about the evolution of light. I really have enjoyed this. And again, I really love this. There's so much more to go on to it. As I said, George did this. It was a 2-hour workshop that he did, and I tried to condense it as much as I could. I hope that you stay conscious this week. And if I could give you an assignment to see how many times that you could change the narrative in your head to what can I do to give and to be of service rather than what can you give to me. So thank you again for joining me this evening. Have a wonderful evening. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Bye now.